All right, so our first objective for each market is you want to find the unit rate. You want to know what the cost is per ounce. So when I set it up at Kingston, what into what? Alexandra. Great. Raise the rock up. 10 cannot go into 3, right? So now we are talking about a price that's going to be less than $1. 10 into 38, Brando. At least 3 times. What's 10 times 3, bud?
30.
Great. Our difference. Bring down Mr. Zero. And it terminates. So 38 cents per what? Per ounce at Kingston. Now let's see if farmers market is a better deal or not. What into what for farmers? Lucas Longo. All right, raise the rock. 12 can't go into 5. That's good. It's less than $1. 12 into 51. Oh, sorry, 510. Got it. 12 into 51. Joseph. I already know which is cheaper, don't I? You can tell by that first 10th spot, which is going to be cheaper, right? Which is going to be more expensive. But let's finish it through. 51, take away 48. Get that, Joe. Yep. Twice, but it still doesn't terminate, does it? I think we spent some time on this on Monday, right? And it goes now 12 into 60 exactly how many times? 5. Okay, we talked about this, right, on Monday? 0.425 is what? Rounded to the nearest cent. Becca? How'd you know it's 43? Okay, so let me ask you this, guys. When we round to the nearest cent, what place value is either going to stay the same or go up? What place value in that decimal? Okay, what is the second digit? Place value name for the second digit. Stace. Yeah, this is our hundredths. Okay, yeah, that's our hundredths place, or the second digit if you want. It helps you. It's 2 digits or 2 place values to the left of the decimal. Sorry, to the right of the decimal. Okay, now I look here, and Becca's right. If it's 5 or more, this goes up to 0.43, which is 43 cents. Okay, because you're gonna have to do it again. I think you have to do it on your exit ticket as well. So I want to practice it a little bit. All right, so who's got the better deal? Farmer or Kingston? M. Kingston. You always want to pay less per pound, per ounce, per unit. How do you figure out how much you would save per ounce? What operation do you have to do? Low. Okay, high number, take away low number. What was it, 43? And if you do everything correctly, it's not 50 cents, but 0.05, which is 5 cents. How many of you got it all right? Okay. How many of you, let me ask you this. Show of hands, fist to 5. How many of you, if you were given the exit ticket right now, and the exit ticket looked just like this, but maybe different stores, how many of you think you would get a perfect score? Raise your hand. Okay. So we're just going to practice it a couple more times. Make sure you get it right, and then you'll be able to do your exit ticket. All right, next page. I think there's one question on this, and then there's a question on the exit ticket where you then have to look at finding the unit rate with a ratio table and finding unit rate with a coordinate plane. All right, what do you do to figure out that you got 2 motorcycles? the sports and the leisure, right? How do you figure out what this sports motorcycle gets mileage-wise per gallon? Michael, Mikey, Michael.
5 divided by 200.
Well, you're sort of close. It's the way you said it. What into what? Okay, which is really 287. See, the way you said 5 divided by 287.5. When you say it, you got to say it reverse the way that you set it up. So it's really 287.5 divided by 5, which is 5 into 287.5. Did 5 go into 2? 5 go into 28? How many times? Thank you. All right, 5 into 37. Somebody I haven't heard from. RGL. 7 is good. Still not done. Bring down the 5. It's going to terminate here. Brando. Exactly 5 times. It terminates there. We're good. 57.5 miles per gallon, which you're going to see. You'll see that in your if you go to like a car dealership, it'll actually have it on the window. When you see the sticker price, it'll also tell you how many miles per gallon it gets. You'll see it, okay? And it'll be MPG, which means miles per gallon, which I want you to get used to. You know, I was at the supermarket this weekend, past couple of days, and I was buying sugar, okay? Sugar substitute, actually. It was stevia. It's all natural. It's a stevia plant. So there's like Splenda, but it's green box. It's from a stevia plant. And there's 2 boxes. There was the ShopRite box, and then there was the Truvia box, which was stevia's. It's brand name for stevia. And I used unit price. If you go to the supermarket, start looking on the shelves. You will see not only the cost for the item, but they'll give you what's called a unit price of how much it costs per pound. So you can compare which is the better deal. So I had to actually look at it because the ShopRite brand had, I'll just give you the numbers. It was 80 packets for $3.59. Okay? I'll write it down, but you don't have to write it down. It's kind of a teachable moment. 80 for $3.59. Kind of interesting how I reasoned through this. The Truvia brand gave me 240 packets for $11.49. And then I started to do some math in my head. I said, okay, this is how many times more in packets? It is. It's times 3. So I said, okay, let me take this and multiply it times 3. And I did it kind of in my head. And I got approximately $11.80, I think. I'm going to do it with the calculator. But I did it at the store. And it was, well, you have a cell phone. You could always do it on a cell phone, too. But if you do 1140 or 359 times 3, you get $10.77. Okay, so what's the better deal? What's the better deal? If this or this? But I would be paying more for this. If I multiply this by 3, Nick, and I get the same amount of packets, this would cost me $10.77. So according to the math, what's the better deal? Do you agree that this would be the better deal? Yes? Okay. However, here's the interesting thing. I got it in my head, oh, this is the better deal. But according to the unit price that they give you, they give it to you per ounce. This, I think, this 240 came to like 16 cents per, I think it's per pound actually. It was like 16 cents per pound. And this was 18 cents per pound. I'm saying that doesn't make any sense to me. Then why is my math all messed up? And then I started looking at the packets. They give you more sugar in these packets than they do in these packets. So I started, it was kind of like a teachable moment. I was going to take a picture and I was going to show it to you and show you all of the math. But unit price was right. You want to always look at your unit price, and they give it to you. They gave it to you per pound of how much it was. The better deal wound up being, believe it or not, it was the brand name Truvia was the better deal. ShopRite was actually more money. But what to take away from all this? The next time you go to the supermarket or Costco or Walmart, start looking at unit prices. You'll see it on the shelf. All I want you to do is just say, oh, there's the unit price, and think of us. Okay, say, oh, that's math. You'll see it on the shelves. I want to see if you can be observant. So take away from that the unit price is something that you do use in everyday life. Okay, I think I told you, any of the high school kids, they come down, they talk to the math students here at the middle school, and they tell all the math students no unit price because everything comes down to unit price in math. T. Moses. Again. All right, now we have to find out what the unit mileage is for leisure motorcycles. We know 57.5 is our miles per gallon for sports. How would you figure out gallons per mile, or miles per gallon, sorry, for leisure? Tyler Moses. Yes, you see, we have a solid value where 2 meets 110. We can't tell where 1 is. I mean, we kind of envision it as being halfway, but let's be sure. They give us a solid value, a whole number value at 2 gallons. And at 2 gallons, you go 110 miles. So what into what? Tyler, what into what? I ran out of room here. I'll do it up here. 2 into what? All right, so you did 2 into 110. Or 110 divided by 2. If you do the math, 2 can't go into 11, or 2 can't go into 1, it goes into 11. How many times, bud? All right, good. Bring down the 0, 2 into 10. And that gives us that unit rate. What's better or more efficient vehicle? Remember, for this, you got to think a little bit differently with this. Because whereas when you're doing cost, you want to pay less. But when you're doing mileage, you want the car that gets more miles to the gallon. You got to kind of think a little bit. It's not always the higher number or the lower number. Tyler, finish it up. What's the better vehicle? The sports motorcycle. Okay, it's going to get about 2.5 gallons more, 2.5 more miles per gallon. And I'll write it down, but I'll pause this first.
Do you guys see that? I was going to say, if you see that they both have the same numbers, the 10 and the 10, right? To get the unit rate that way, what would you have to do? Divide both those numbers by 10, and you'd still get the same number, 57.5 and then 55.5.
So what she's saying, it's a little trick. It's called the zero game. Or if you can understand what to do in multiplying and dividing by 10, it's a great little trick. Instead of doing the math of 2 into 110 and 5 into 287.5, look for 10. 10 is your friend. 10 is your friend. Say that to yourself. 10 is your friend. 10 here. Look, see what I'm doing? It's easier for you to divide 575 by 10 than it is to try to do 5 into 287.5, because all you're really doing, watch, there's a decimal here. You're going to learn this when we do decimals. When you divide by 10, what do you do? Joseph, I need you. What do you do to the decimal? When you divide by 10, You move it one spot to the left. There's my 57.5. Look at that. Look how easy that is. Okay, what about 10 into 550? When you divide by 10, I can move the decimal where? One spot. 55. Let me ask you this. What if I had to divide by 100? There you go. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, move it once to the left. 2 zeros, move it twice. It's called the zero trick. 10 is your friend. 10 is your friend. Thank you, Miss Singleton.
There is more than one way to figure it out. For this problem, it ends up being okay to do it that way because 10 is your friend. Not all cases will that happen, but that's something for you to look.
And listen, let's work smarter, not hard. Let's look at it this way too. I have a match at 10. Do I want the car after 10 miles that goes only 550 miles, or the car that goes further with that same 10 gallons? 575 is a better vehicle. It goes more mileage in those 10 gallons. We don't even need unit rates sometimes. You won't always have that match, but there's lots of different strategies that you guys can utilize. All right, up to 3, right? They throw a lot of numbers at you with this. You got to decide which numbers you need and which ones you don't need. Double A batteries, you don't need double A. You don't care what it is. But you do need to know 60, 20, 1150, and 12. All right, let's play with this first. No, you're right. 20 and 1150. Get the unit rate. What goes into what? Emma, what into what? All right, let's do it. Don't forget to raise the rock. Emma, you want to do it? Yeah, come on up. Okay, how many of you got this far? So this is another question where you've got to round it to the nearest whole cent. 0.575 rounds to what, money-wise? Arabella. You got it. Read off. What did you round it to? You got it right. No. Look, you have your 0.575. There's your answer right there. What is that? 0.58. Does everybody see why it rounds to 58 cents? We're rounding to the nearest hundredth. Here's my hundredth. 5 or more. Raise the score. Bring it up to 58 cents. How many of you got 58 cents for you should also get in the habit of, if you're going to do 2 sets of math, what is what? This is the 20 pack. Now we've got to do the 12 pack. Who wants to come up and do the math for the 12 pack? Sim. Now this one, if you did everything right, you don't have to round it. Did you get 60 cents per battery? What's the better deal? Come on, I should see more hands than this. RGL. Better deal is the 20 pack, which usually is the case, guys. If you go to Costco or BJ's, the more you buy, the more you save. That's usually the case. Not always, but. Tyler. Let me see. You might have done it the way Joe did it. Double TRF? What'd you do? Let me see what you did. I'll take a look at that after the bell. You might be on something there. Let's finish this up. Come on, guys. We're not done with this question just yet. We didn't do the difference in the cost per battery. All right, but don't pack up yet. How do you figure out what the difference in price is? Ryan. Okay, what take away what? 60 cents take away what? You got to round it. Make it simple. 57.5, 0.575, 50, yeah, 0.58. And the difference is 2 cents. All right, we will finish it up after lunch. Well, after period 4 and 5. And going live in 2, 3. We're live. All right, let's do super fast deluxe. How do I find the unit rate? It all comes down to you got to get the unit rate for each. 1 into what? Lucas.
12 into 5.48.
Are you on the right page? Yeah, the copy machine. Where's? Oh, what? 12 into what? No.
20 into 36.
Yeah. Where 12? I'm just curious. Where did the 12 thing come into? Okay. Yes. See, we have an even match. Our first match. Our first dot meets up at 20 seconds, 36 copies. So I'm going to use that to find my unit rate. How many of you, raise your hand, did 20 into 36 for Super Fast Deluxe? Okay, check. If not, let's do it now. Okay, 20 into 36 goes once. What's my remainder? Brando. 16. Am I done? I got to keep bringing zeros down until I either terminate or repeat. 20 into 160. It will. Yep, it goes exactly 8 times. So the Super Fast Deluxe, that's telling us that it's going to do 1.8 copies per second. Now, what's that in reality? Every second that thing is running, it's almost able to do 2 copies per second. It's a little bit short, so every second it's able to pump out about 2 copies per second, a little bit less, 1.8. All right, I love equations because equations are simple. Once you have an equation, you also have the unit rate. I mean, I could substitute 1 in for seconds, but then I'm just doing 1.5 times 1, and I get what? 1.5. So this one does 1.5 copies per second. What should the principal choose? Here's where you have to do the thinking. Because again, if you're dealing with, sometimes you go to the store, you want to pay less per ounce, per pound, but not so much with these copies. These copies, you want the one that can make more copies per second. Becca, which one's better? I'll take that different way in 1 second because it may also work. But if you do unit price way or the unit method, you're comparing 1.5 to 1.8. Thorny, what do you got? Yeah, it makes more copies per second. Not by much, but still it can add up over time. So the principal should choose Super Fast Deluxe. Becca, the way that you did it, did you still get Super Fast Deluxe as the better copier? All right, let's take a look and see. All right, so what she did, oh, I kind of like that way. Here's what she did. Did you do that all by yourself? Got some help? That's okay. All right, watch. We take the 20 seconds, and it makes 36 copies in 20 seconds. Right? Ready? I'll give this to you. How would I figure out how many copies this does in 20 seconds? What could I do? I'll say it again. I know Superfast Deluxe, in that 20 seconds, it can make 36 copies. How would I find out how many copies this can do in 20 seconds? Beck, it's your problem. You do it. What'd you do? Okay, so you copy the equation. Does everybody see what she did? She took that 20 seconds and she substituted it in for S. She used the equation. And if you do the math correctly, what do you get? This makes 30 copies in 20 seconds. This copy does 36 copies in 20 seconds. Superfast Deluxe. No matter what way you do it, Superfast Deluxe is the better copier. It makes more copies per second. I'll look at it after, but let me advance. If anybody did anything differently, I'll look at it. Miss Morrow will look at it. But let's just get through the next two remaining problems, so that'll give you more class time to work. Okay, Joe. All right. So if you do unit rate, Superfast Deluxe, which I'm going to abbreviate as SFD, does approximately 0.3 copies more per second. All right. Any questions on that? Because we have two more problems we're going to do together. Can I flip this? All right. All right, this kind of goes back to the battery question again. We have a 12-pack of soda and a 20-pack of soda. All right, here's my work for 12, and here's going to be my work for 20. If I use unit rate, what into what for 12? Sam. Okay. And I won't do it yet, but if I do the 20-pack, what into what for 20? Somebody I haven't heard from. Michael, what into what for 20, buddy? Yes. Okay, now what I'm going to do, because of time again, I'm just going to tell you what you should have gotten if you did the division correctly. For the 12-pack, if you did the division correctly, you wind up getting, in actuality, 0.3325. Raise your hand if you got that. Now you got to round it to the nearest whole cent. What does it round to? I know, right? It's getting better. Rounding is definitely getting better. They're starting to get it. At least even in period 3, they're starting to get it. Just got to practice it. Yeah, I know. In period 3, you were starting to get this rounding idea. And my period 5, it was getting better. Amanda, what'd you get it to round to? Kind of, sort of. Can I ask you this? Which digit's in the hundredths place? Okay, which one? The first 3 or the second 3? The one on the left? Or the... Okay, great. So now watch. I underline that. Would I let it rest? Would I keep it a 3 or would I raise it up? That's right. I keep it a 3, 33 cents. How many of you rounded it correctly? We need to practice it. Okay, this one's not so bad though. This one becomes if you do everything right, 0.274. Yes? Mathematically, it should be 0.274, Lou. Check it. Okay, how about rounding it? What does it round to? Amanda Ravitch. Yes, 0.27, which is 27 cents. So now you can see, 33 cents or 27 cents. Remember, you want to pay less when you go to the market. What's the better deal, the 12 or the 20? Say it out loud. 20 it is. It is. It is different price difference, but and that's the way it is in real life too. The more you buy, the more you save. Usually, the larger, the more items per pack, you wind up paying less. BJ's and Costco make their whole entire business on that because you got to buy in bulk. If you're a big family, it makes sense to shop at those stores because they want to get rid of that inventory. You wind up paying less, but you got paper towels for the next 3 years in your house to buy over at BJ's. That's the whole idea behind it. All right, so and then the approximate difference if you subtract is, what do you wind up getting? I think you're right. 6 cents sounds about right. 6 cents. You're right, 6 cents. I didn't have the top part. I had to do it by heart. By memory. All right, one more together. For Elijah, what two numbers should I divide to get unit? Luke Soresco. And it works out nicely. What do you get? Okay, so he could do $5 per mile. That's what he raises, $5 per mile. Raise your hand if you got 5 for Elijah. Okay, great. What into what for Sean? Stace. Or 6 into 33. 33 divided by 6. You do wind up with a small decimal with this. What do you get? Right, 5.5. Which is what as money, Stace? $5.50 per mile. Okay, great. All right, we kind of did the work up top, so I didn't have to scroll back and forth. Who earned more money per mile and by how much? Brando.
Sean,
That sounds good. All good? Who has key privileges? Okay, there's no key hanging up. It's in my hand. You know what? I might be able to make copies. I can run the library real quick. I'll make copies, hang it up for you. Group up. You have to get through the next 3 pages. If you do, you wind up having no homework. Or if you want to go ahead, you can because you got to do it tomorrow anyway. Want to go copy it?